What's up, everybody? Welcome to the JJ Peller podcast. I'm JJ, really excited to be here with you, really grateful that you've made the decision to listen in. The purpose of this podcast is to inspire, empower, encourage, and equip you along your journey of getting better every single day, to be your very best every day so that you can tap into your fullest potential and achieve your big dreams and goals. I absolutely believe what Napoleon Hill says in his amazing book, Think and Grow Rich. No one achieves anything great without passing the persistence test. And the big purpose of this podcast is to help you pass the persistence test, because I know for certain that the highest achievers, the most driven and ambitious people on the face of the planet today and who have ever lived go through some of the most difficult challenges and adversities and obstacles, because that's required to achieve great success. And along those journeys of people going after their greatest potential, they need someone beside them, in their ears, so to speak, keeping them encouraged, keeping that inner fire and passion alive to do the great things that they are called here to do in this world with their gifts and their talents. And so today's conversation, I'm going to share with you something that is completely simple and basic, but it's been the thing that has been one of the most important things for achieving any amount of success that I've ever achieved, for getting any of the opportunities I've ever received or earned in my life. It's because of this one thing. And when you hear it, stick with me, because you're going to think, well, JJ, that's so simple. But what I know for certain is it's the simple, basic, fundamental things, when mastered, make the biggest difference. You see, the people that are achieving at the highest levels, who've done the most incredible things, the people you admire, respect, look up to, and want to create a life that looks just like theirs, those people have done the really simple things, the basic things, the things that maybe to most people seem boring. They've done them really well for a long period of time. And the one thing I'm going to share with you today is attitude. When's the last time you had a checkup on your attitude? There's a great book by John Maxwell, who's one of the leading experts in the world on leadership and has been for many decades. And his book is called Attitude is the Difference Maker, because maybe you've heard it said that attitude is everything. Well, in his book, and I agree with him what he says in his book, attitude is not everything. There are so many other things that matter big time. But attitude is, as his title suggests, the difference maker. All other things being equal. If you have the equal skills to someone else, the same talent, the same information and knowledge and experience, your attitude is the thing that will set you apart. So whether you're brand new in your career right out of college, or you're brand new to your career transitioning from another thing, or you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years in, what I know for certain is we all need to be reminded of the basic, simple, fundamental things that can make the biggest difference. One of my favorite quotes, and I say it in pretty much most of the content I create, is by Samuel Johnson, who's an author from the 1700s, that's right. And he said, people need to be reminded more often than they need to be instructed. When we remind ourselves of the really simple, basic, fundamental things like attitude, then we start to ingrain it into us. You see, I just had a conversation with someone the other day, and I was like, look, if it's been like 3, 4, 6 weeks since the last time you went to the gym or did any kind of workout, and you're like, man, I really need to push myself. I really need to get stronger. And so you go to the gym, you put some weight on the bar, and you start to do some bench press and squats and curls and all these other things. And you do that for like 2 hours. By the end of it, you're going to be really sore, and you're going to be like, whew, that was a really great workout. Man, I should probably do that more often. How much stronger are you going to be by the end of those 2 hours? You're going to have a certain level of greater strength. Well, first of all, it's going to beat up your body. Then as your body recovers and rejuvenates, it will come back and grow back stronger. But you'll have a certain level of growth because you exerted that effort. But now, instead of waiting 4, 5, 6 weeks to get in the gym once for 2 hours because you feel like you need it, what if instead you went to the gym 30 minutes every day over those same 6 weeks? You know, doing just 30 minutes of work a day in the gym is going to put you exponentially farther ahead than the person that just goes for 2 hours every 6 weeks. Why is that? Because of the power of compound effort. Anything you do over time consistently compounds, and attitude's no different. If you want to strengthen and improve and better your attitude, and I'll talk more about how you can do this and what that looks like and the opportunities that it can open for you in a second. But like, if you can train your attitude every day to be at a higher altitude, Another way of saying a higher level, but it rhymes, right? Take your attitude to new altitude and you'll see new levels of achievement and success. Like if you want that, then you got to work on it every single day. Your attitude, the reason it's so powerful is it literally carries a certain energy with it. Like if you're around someone and you look at that person, you're like, wow, this person really has a great attitude. Or this person has a really positive attitude. What are you actually saying about that person? You're saying that person is exuding, radiating a certain energy, a certain frequency, if you will, that's coming from deep inside of them, from a place of knowingness about who they are and what they're here for, and their beliefs and their philosophies and their worldview, which I'll get into also as we move through this podcast. But what you know is it's a certain feeling that you get. You see, your attitude is the thing that will attract people to you. And if you want to achieve really amazing things in your life, you're going to have to do it with and through other people. That's the core concept of my book, Attract Your Potential. If you want to do something incredible with your life, if you want to tap into your greatest potential, you'll do that by working with and through other people. And if you need to work with and through other people to tap into your greatest potential and do some incredible things in your life and with your life, then guess what? You sure as heck better find a way or make a way to get more of the right people around you in your life. And what I have found is the best way to do this is to attract those people. Because then you're not manipulating or forcing or trying to hook people into you. You're just showing up differently than everybody else, which, by the way, now that we're in, as I'm recording this, it's May of 2024. It is the easiest time in history to stand out with attitude. Why? Because many, many, many people have been beaten down emotionally, energetically, attitudinally, if that's a word, over the past 4 years. Because lots has happened, and many people have gone through a lot of challenges and adversities and changes in life. And so many people have been so beaten down by life over the past 4 years, or maybe decade, depending on their life situation, that it just becomes more and more difficult to show up with a great attitude. And even people that show up with a neutral attitude, where it's like, they don't have a negative attitude or bad attitude. They're just there. They just exist. Nothing special. Those people will not stand out. I promise you, friend, there is a small minority of people who will consistently, right now in 2024 and beyond, who will consistently show up with an amazing, positive, hopeful, radiant attitude. And if you choose to be that person and you choose to strengthen that in yourself, you will be a person that stands out. Now, it takes time to stand out, because if you show up once with a great attitude, what's someone going to say? Oh, you got a great attitude. That's awesome. Wow, what a cool person. If you show up twice, like, I'm starting to see a pattern here. But if you show up day after day or week after week, however many times you interact with other people, every time you show up in the world, whether with your family, spouse, significant other, partner, your children, your team members, your clients, the world at large, like if you just continually show up with a great attitude and you make it better and better every time you show up, guess what? People are going to start thinking of you as the person with a great attitude, as the person that helps them feel a particular way. And that attitude comes from a belief that you're doing something great with your life. In the book by Wallace Wattles called The Science of Getting Rich, which is a book that I absolutely love and has some great, incredible wisdom and encouragement in it, he says we all have to leave everyone we meet with the impression of increase, with the feeling that you are an advancing person. And if you leave everyone you meet with the impression of increase, with the feeling that you are an advancing person, then you will magnetize people to you, because everyone wants increase in their life. Everyone wants to advance. At the very least, the most driven, ambitious people certainly want to advance and increase themselves in their life in all kinds of ways. In their financial success, in their fulfillment, in their reach, in the way they get to serve people and how many people they serve, in their relationships. And if you can be a person that shows up in a way that helps other people feel that more is possible, that can believe in a bigger, better, brighter future. And by the way, the only way to help other people to feel and believe that a bigger, better, brighter future is ahead of them is to be someone yourself. You yourself have to be someone that shows up in the world with a belief, with the attitude that the future will be bigger, better, and brighter than your current present reality. And if you show up with this attitude, you will leave everyone you meet with the impression of increase. And if you do that, then you'll just start to help everyone you ever meet again to know that you're a person that they will want to be around. Because your attitude, as I said before, attracts people to you. But what are you doing to train and condition your attitude? Because, by the way, even the most positive, optimistic, hopeful people in the world, which I like to put myself in that camp, in that category. If there's one thing that I hear from people more often than anything, it's JJ just has really positive energy. He has a great attitude. Like I said at the start of this episode, it's the thing that has opened more doors and brought me more opportunities than anything else, is showing up consistently with a great positive attitude. But even for me and people like me who have generally positive, hopeful attitudes, we can get brought down by life. We can be challenged. We can face adversities. We can run into walls that are making it difficult for us to show up with a great, positive, hopeful attitude. In fact, just the other day, if you follow my content, you may know this about me, but I do a 4:45 a.m. CrossFit workout. And so I typically get up before 4 a.m. That's my goal, sometimes a little bit later, but I'm doing this workout 4 to 5 days a week. And that's an early time. And so what I found, and by the way, it's not just an early time to do a workout, it is an intense workout. Like if you've ever done CrossFit, at least the ones I do in the class I attend, we freaking get after it, man. Like we go hard. I know I do, and I know the people around me that show up for that class just go so hard. And sometimes the workouts are so difficult that I'm like, oh man, kind of crying about it, complaining a little bit maybe. And even if to other people they don't perceive it as complaining or negative, they're just like, oh, it is what it is. You're going through a tough workout. Like I realized the other morning that I was like, dude, what's your attitude been like when you showed up to that workout, when you did that workout? What I know for certain is that whatever we speak becomes strengthened in us and in the people who hear our words that we speak. Everyone around us who hears our words and feels what we feel when we speak those words has those words. And the meaning of those words, the message of those words, the energy of those words ingrained even further. And so if you want to wire yourself for a great attitude, you've got to catch yourself in the moments when you don't have a great attitude, when you're saying things that are sounding like complaining or negative or like, man, how am I going to get through this? Or this is tough. It doesn't mean the workout's not tough. But what it means is, dude, I got a choice to make. When I'm going through a difficult time in life, a challenge in life, an adversity or facing an obstacle, like a difficult workout at 4:45 in the morning, and it's kicking my butt, I have a choice. Am I going to say things like, oh man, this is really tough. Oh, I'm just ready to get through this. Or can I say, let's freaking go. Like it's tough, yes, but it is making me stronger. I'm getting better. I'm getting more fit. I'm building my endurance, my stamina, my strength by going through this, by pushing through this. Because I know for certain that if in those moments of difficulty and challenge and obstacle, I condition my mind to look for the positive and to focus on the positive and to give my energy to the positive and to staying positive and elevated and hopeful and optimistic, that I'm going to wire myself for that optimism. But most people don't. Most people fall back into complaining, whining, and negativity. And I'm not saying I don't, because I have, and I just told you that I do. But what the difference is between people that are generally higher altitude attitude people and people that stay in the depths of complaining and whining and negativity is we make a choice. We catch it in the moment and we say, no longer will I do that. I'm going to turn it around right now. And so the very next day when I saw it sooner, I felt it sooner, when I was like, felt myself about to complain or make some type of, maybe not even negative comment, but just neutral, not really positive about the workout, I was like, nope, I'm not going to say it. Because I know what I speak strengthens in me. Positive or negative, it strengthens in me. And the ears that hear it, it strengthens in that person too. And I don't want anyone around me to have negativity strengthened in them. And you, friend, should not want negativity or pessimism or lack of hope, hopelessness strengthened in anyone. Your words matter. My words matter. All of our words matter. What we speak to ourselves and what we say to others. That's why I believe in making this podcast. At least half the reason that I create the content I create is because I know what I speak strengthens in me. And if I'm here to share a positive, uplifting, encouraging, helpful message for you, I'm going to hear it. I'm going to feel it as I speak the words. And the message will sink deeper into my spirit. It will ignite something inside of me to say, let's freaking go. Because if I speak optimism and hope and encouragement to you, then I'm speaking it to myself at the same exact time. And if I'm encouraging myself, then I'm uplifting myself, then I have more of the positive energy I need to share it with you. And so most people want to look at attitude and think, well, how do I get better attitude? Like, some things are just what they are, and that's great. Or why do I need a better attitude? And my message is simple. Who do you want to be around? Positive people or negative people? People that make you feel inspired, empowered, and uplifted and encouraged? Or people that make you feel like, what's the point? Is it worth it? This is negative. It's not hopeful. The future's not bigger and better and brighter. Who do you want to be around? That's right. The vast majority of driven, ambitious people want to be around the person that helps them feel like more is possible. And that comes from the way you show up. And the way you show up is what people call your attitude. And so I know for certain that it's a thing that I want to condition intentionally in myself. And by the way, the easiest or best way to condition this is, number one, you've got to be conditioning the right things, which means you've got to have the right beliefs and mindset about what attitude is and what it means for you. And so the beliefs you got to have is, number one, the future will be bigger, better, and brighter than your present reality. And if you don't believe that the future is going to be bigger, better, and brighter than your present reality, then how in the world are you going to show up with a great attitude? Because the vast majority of the people that you see and feel showing up with a great attitude, with an uplifting, positive energy attitude, those people see a bigger, better, brighter future. So if you're not conditioning your mind to see a bigger, better, brighter future, it will be way more difficult for you to show up with a great attitude. Number one. Number two, the way you condition a great attitude is by realizing that there is strength in the struggle. The stuff you're going through right now, the challenges, it's here to serve you. It's here to serve your purpose, your mission, your future. Because as I look back on my life, oh my goodness, the times that I went through some really difficult things or challenges or adversities or times where I was like, man, I'm uncertain about what's going on. Those are the seasons of life that give us the greatest growth opportunity. My wife and I recently took the kiddos to the local regenerative farm to help out in the garden. And let me share this story with you because I think it'll paint the picture really well. And I know it's a great analogy for me, and others have said they really appreciated it. We went to the local farm, and one of the things that my wife invited me to do as my part of volunteering in the garden was they're looking to plant rows of new tomatoes for the season. And so what they need in these rows is, number one, there's a big pile of manure over on the side of the garden, outside of the garden. And there's a big pile of compost, which if you know what compost is, it's just a bunch of random things like maybe pumpkins or old vegetables or fruits or whatever, old foodstuffs, just put together, and eventually it turns into compost. Forget the exact word. I'm not remembering the exact word. Decomposes, I think is the right word, and becomes compost. So we're dealing with two big piles of stuff. One is manure and one is compost. And most of these things, like you throw away a banana peel or an apple core or the whatever else, old pumpkins, like there's all kinds of stuff that you and I would throw away and think is trash and needs to be gone. And there's no use for it. Just like the farmers probably sometimes before they became knowledgeable farmers, most people, I guess not the farmers, but most people would look at manure and they'd be like, oh, that manure from that cow or that horse or that pig or the donkeys or the goats, like that's not useful. Let's get rid of that sticky stuff. But what farmers realize, what I found out as I was helping to build out this garden or lay the manure and the compost for this garden, is that they want to plant and build and grow a really beautiful, thriving garden. It starts with manure. Starts with stuff. It starts with compost. Starts with a bunch of stuff like banana peels and old apple cores and all of these other things that you might put into compost that once was viewed as someone as useless, as pointless, maybe as taking up space, as smelly, as stinky, as old, is no longer useful, as garbage. But the truth is, it's the manure of life that gives us the nutrients required to grow into the greatest version of ourselves. And like, I will always come back to this metaphor because for anyone struggling or going through the stuff of life, instead of looking at it as the stuff of life, look at it as the stuff that strengthens you. Look at it as the nutrients to grow the beautiful garden of life that you're here to grow, to create the masterpiece of your life. Manure is required to grow a beautiful, thriving garden. Likewise, the stuff of life is required for you to grow a big, beautiful, amazing, thriving, successful life. And so if instead of looking at the stuff and the struggles and the challenges you're going through as stuff and challenges and struggles, look at it as the requirement for building the life you want. Now you've got a whole new lens that you're looking through. You see it completely differently. And so, friend, I know for certain that even when you're going through the stuff of life, you can show up with a better attitude. You can show up with positive energy. You can show up with hopefulness, belief, and optimism that your future will be bigger, brighter, and better than your current reality. And you got to keep doing the self-talk that keeps you encouraged and inspired. You've got to keep listening to the messages like this one that help you be reminded to have a great attitude through the struggles of life, because you will have breakthrough. I don't know if it's 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years from now, but you will have your next breakthrough. I don't know how big the breakthrough will be, but you will have breakthrough. But you must pass the persistence test again, which is exactly why this podcast exists. And so if you've found encouragement, or you found a lift or renewed sense of positivity or possibility from listening to this message today, please, friend, share it with someone who needs this message too. Share it with a friend, a colleague, a family member, someone you care about, that you want to help them to continually build and grow themselves, to become better every day, to be their best every day, and to continually grow into the thriving person they're meant to be. Friend, I hope you'll share this with someone, and I hope whatever you are going after, whatever big goals and dreams you have, refuse to settle for anything less than your greatest potential. Refuse to quit. Just keep going, and great things will happen for you, friend. Until next time, keep going.